You off with chapter 13 and the Lady in the Color Clocks. Last time we got about halfway through chapter 13, so we're just going to dive right on in. Pioneering. Yes, it seems that we are in a place that has never been gone to before. A place that's beyond our limits? Yes, good thought, child. We are creating something new. We are in a place where knowledge has not yet been manifested physically. We decided it would be best to head back and let the others know we had indeed stepped into a place of mystery. Jamie, what happened? Guys, there was nothing there, yet there was. We couldn't see anything. It was dark. Any ideas what to do? I know, Jack chimed in. We could find out who that dude from Romania was. He has a point. Guy from Romania? Yeah, that's another story for another time. Well, let's go together in case something happens. Screech. Huh? Did you guys hear that? Boo! Surprise! Amelia! Amelia, that's not funny. I thought you were one of the bad guys. Well, it was funny to me. But now on to serious matters. There are more of us now. I have gathered a team. What? Just shortly after she spoke stood the art and science teacher, Oliver, and a few others whom I didn't know. Jack was frozen in his spot. He slowly looked at me. Our teachers? They're in this too? What kind of place is this? Miss Rosberg and Mr. Smith chimed in. It's one of a kind, child. One of a kind and quite fascinating. She said it. Fascinating. That's what that meant all along? Two others spoke up after them. I have never seen them before. It was a guy and a girl. I couldn't tell if they were twins or a couple because they matched so well. They both had dark hair and dark features in general. They both also clearly loved the color black. They were completely decked out in it. They looked like ninjas. I wonder if they are. I'm Joette, and I'm Josh. Nice to meet you guys. Same to you. Everyone chimed in at this point. We love Miss Lenora and want to help. We appreciate it. We were just planning where to go. Jack has a plan. We should find out who that guy from Romania was that we saw that one night. Ah, yes. Now I know, our mom said. It was the guy from the night that you guys were out until almost 3 a.m. Huh? She knew? Of course I would know. A mom has eyes in the back of her head. She sees where her little ones, well, not so little, ones go. I may have used time just once. Oh, so now the truth comes out, my dad jokingly interjected. But I didn't stay long enough to hear why you guys were eavesdropping on their conversation. I just thought you were playing a game with your friends. Why didn't you say something? Well, we just moved here. I knew it had to be tough leaving a place you guys both knew your whole life. I wanted to give grace at the time, but if I catch you both, we can't waste any more time, guys, Amelia now chimed in. We have very few choices left. Who knows what could be happening in this moment? Now instead of the three of us, all 10 of us traveled back in time where we were camped out in the back of Lenora's house. We watched as the guy gave her the clock and left. We inspected the moment over and over. Nothing. There was nothing suspicious. Wait, let's go to the window again. No one keeps their back window cracked for the heck of it. On a cold, windy, and stormy night. And I know Miss Lenora well enough to know that it was probably on purpose. We peered through the window and saw to our dismay. It was Lenora. She was tearing up over a picture. She held the strange-looking clock next to it. All of a sudden, the lines went through my mind. There is one thing you should know in this, that while you may save time, you will also sacrifice time. Guys, wait! She knew! We watched as she took one last glance at the picture and began her journey into the unknown. At least to us it was. We hadn't gone any further in the future than this. And just as always, with the blink of an eye, she was gone. Before I could think any more, I lifted the window open and ran to where she once stood a moment ago. There on the floor, crumpled up, lay a picture of 8 people. It looked to be a picture from about a couple of decades or so ago. And the picture was Lenora, her husband, 2 toddlers, a boy and a girl, and lastly 3 middle-aged people, one being Charlie. We all stared at him. Charlie, what do you know about this? I wish I could say I knew, but I am just as clueless as you, child. My dad then looked at the picture and gasped. James, what is it? That's me, Lacey. It's our family. Charles, I knew you looked familiar. But wait, I now interjected. If we are family, that means Lenora's our grandmother. And Charlie is our great uncle? My grandmother? Now Dad was in tears. We all were. I especially was. I had wondered why my family and I were a part of this time thing, and now it makes even more sense. But besides that fact, I had always wanted grandparents, and Miss Lenora was beyond what I could have hoped for. I miss her now more than ever. I couldn't wait to tell her that I now knew. When I think about my dad, what I think about I knew from my dad's childhood, it wasn't too much. The little he did share was when we were at some point asked who our grandparents were. When we at some point asked. From what he told us was that when he was in the army, he came back and his parents were gone with no trace. He would share some fun stories from his younger years. Mom was just as surprised as us. James, does that mean the guy from Romania? Wait, let's not jump to conclusions yet, dear lassies and lads. We need to get to where this clock will take us. But we must realize there may be a chance that we no longer see each other. Great. We just found out we were connected and now we may not even see each other? It saddened me to think that we were in the same position once again. But Lenora was right. Love looks like sacrifice sometimes, and this was the risk we were all willing to take. We were all going the full 9 yards, or another way us Americans would say, go home, go big, or go home. Chapter 14. Another place. Hello? Can anyone hear me? The only thing familiar about this place was that it was the same dark place we were in just earlier. I heard the sound of music off to a direction in the north. Huh, that's interesting. Charlie, Joette, Josh, Jack, anyone? So strange, I thought. Well, I now have nowhere else to go, so I will just follow the sound of music. It felt like forever to get there, but I knew that it wasn't. Some moments seemed like I would get there closer than others. It felt as if time didn't exist, but in some way did. I had time to think as I walked deeper into the dark. Perhaps this was just the test to see if I could trust the bond with those I loved over the reality of the unknown. Perhaps this dark place, this in-between place, was a place of trust. I was deep in thought in the seemingly dark place until I heard a familiar voice. Jamie, come! It's not what you think. Jack? You made it! I had never felt gladder to see my brother. Perhaps that meant I would see everyone else too. Come and see, the rest of us are here too. We made our entrance to what looked like a party. Huh? What's going on here? Who are we celebrating? Lenora? The guy, my family, the people I just met. You're all here. I couldn't explain what I felt in that moment. We all embraced for what seemed like an eternity. Maybe it was or would be. Was this what forever looked like or felt like? Maybe it was just moments. Either way, it didn't matter to me. It was just good to have us all back together. We hugged and kissed each other to no end. As we did, I began to think, was there really an end? Would this be the new normal? I hadn't even thought about normal for the longest time. Even my ordinary life, apart from these things, was outside of the norm. I was once again off in pondering land when I felt a tap on my shoulder. Dear one, you've done it. No, Miss Lenora, I said. Actually, we all have in some way. It's hard to believe that this is even real. I am here and with everyone. I really thought that moment at your house would be the last time I would see you. Dear one, remember when I said that love could not be broken? No thing, not even time, could get in the way of those bonded together. Whether the moments of the known or unknown, seen and unseen, we are still in it together. I will always be there, even if sometimes that looks different. Jamie, come, it's a feast over here. It was so nice to see my brother excited and full of adventure. I hope it stays that way. Miss Lenora, who is this feast for and why? What are we celebrating? Dearie, there is much more to speak of this, but know for now that we are celebrating the one who created love itself, the one who has tied us together in unity and love. We are celebrating what has been before the foundations of the earth. We are celebrating oneness. You will understand more in time, so for now, if you desire to, let's take the invitation. Moments had gone by, and yet it felt like a lifetime. This place was so beautiful, none like I had ever seen. There were so many mountains, and the stars were so close, closer than I had ever seen them. Everything seemed as if it was all living. In fact, as I looked deeper, there wasn't a sign of anything lifeless, as strange as that sounds. There was so much love, joy, and peace that filled the air. It was like a perfect story or something. If this is what Romania is like, I want to live here forever. Lenora must have heard my thoughts as she chimed in. Dear child, it is time I showed you something else. Just know that this place is beyond Romania. Beyond Romania? In an instant, we were back at her house. No, I said out loud. I wasn't ready to leave. I love it here. But there's something about that moment where we were all there that I wanted to last forever. You can go back to that moment anytime, dear one. She then pulled out a multicolored clock. It was about the size of a plate. It seemed to contain all the colors in the world, and some that I hadn't seen before. What does this one do? This one, my dearie, holds the time that extends our time here. Extends our time here? A forever place? It sounds like where we just were. Exactly, dear one. It is, as you say, a forever place filled with love, joy, peace, and all that you could imagine. Does everyone get a clock like this? Everyone has a clock like this. Some are just more aware than others. Some aren't aware yet, but they eventually will be. These clocks you see here, as she pointed to the many colored clocks on the wall, they only contain moments, but this one contains all moments, a lifetime and eternity. So what do we do with it? Well, dear one, while we may be in charge of what we make of our time here in this dimension, this one is above us. It belongs to the one who allows us to step out of time, the one who created time. We simply submit to the one who wills this time. Who is this one that holds all time? He is one of light and love. Though some have misunderstood him, he is quite lovely. She then began to poetically speak of this mystery person. Well, I would love to meet this person one day. But oh my dearie, you have. I have? When? You see, this one who is not limited to time, and is outside of time is everywhere. Everywhere. How can that be? Yes, everywhere, dear one. He is in the fresh breeze on a spring day, the fun-filled joy of a party, and the movement of one winning a race, and the interaction one makes. He is the greatest one, the creative one. He is one of all moments tied into one. Dear one, it is a mystery, but as time continues on, you will realize it is a mystery that is complete and merely unraveling as we step further past what we can measure. I stood there amazed and dumbfounded by what she said. I couldn't make full sense of it, but somehow a part of me knew it to be true. How could I know it to be fully true when I don't fully know it? That is a mystery to me, but I trust her and she's been right thus far. I wanted to go back to that beautiful moment where we were all together. I wanted it to last forever, yet I was at peace in knowing somehow I would make it back there soon. I wanted to hear more of this person that Miss Lenora spoke of, but it was time for school again. A smaller reality still continues, even with a greater reality, I guess. Jamie, Amelia, we gotta go, we're gonna be late. Okay, I'm coming. Amelia was back in the present. That must have meant everyone else was too. I will try to come over later, Miss Lenora. Grandma. No worries, dear one. I know I will see you again. Amelia, it is so good to see you. Oh, Jamie, don't we always see each other? She said sarcastically. Goof, she said with such amusement. She just laughed. Well, I get it, Jamie. It is nice to see someone who is a part of your new normal. Yeah, you said it best. Hey, let's catch up after school. There's still yet more a Bath to see. Okay, that sounds awesome. I'm going to stop by Lenora's first, and then I will meet you at the giant clock tower. Okay, see you then. Once again, school breezed by. It just seems weird to be present in what is normal here after all the stuff after all the stuff I had experienced over the last few days and months. I was never one for change, but now I can see the beauty that it brings. Despite the beginning, I appreciate the simple moments even more. It is amazing that in the simple, it allows us to see the significant. We all had our wonder in creative ways now. So much has changed in all of us in a short time, bringing us closer together than ever before. I couldn't wait to go to Lenora's and see Amelia later on. I could sense another adventure was meant to be had. Hey, Mom! Bye, Mom! Wait 1 second, Jamie. Oh no, I begin to think. What did I do now? Miss Lenora, your grandmother has left something for you at the house. She is going away for a little. All she said was look for the rainbow. Okay, thanks, I said. It took me a moment to remember that it was a reference for the clock. I got there, and just as Mom said, she wasn't there. But why? She just came back. I then saw the multicolored clock with a rolled up note attached to it. Dearest one, I have gone away for a moment. Well, I've gone away for a moment. Well, as most that I spoke with would think. I have gone to meet again with the one who is everlasting itself, the one who is known yet unknown, the one who ultimately holds time in his hands, the one who so loves, even greater than all of us combined. You are welcome to discover him as you had mentioned you were curious when you left. He is the one that I mentioned to you earlier. He is the one in whom I have mainly learned about time and its dimensions from. You will go much further with him as your companion, as he is the one who holds all truth and mysteries. He is the ultimate door. He is the reason we can still be connected even when far apart. One notch of this clock will do it. Be prepared for your life to change once again in another great way. We carry a lot as ones who see the big picture, but to this one here that you will discover, we can give what we think is the big picture too and just follow him. He knows of the ups, the downs, the left, the right, and all around. Until time brings us together again, and with much love, Grandma, aka Miss Lenora. One notch. I held the clock and note in my hand. I wanted to see who this person was and why my grandmother was so fond of them. Maybe they can make this time thing here easier. She did say he knows all. At the least, I would get to see my grandmom again. Oh, but do I dare? Well, I guess if I don't like it, I can always travel back, I thought. Besides, I couldn't imagine a moment without my newfound grandma. And what did she mean by love greater than all of us combined? What could have been greater than that moment where we embraced in Romania? Or was it even Romania? I wasn't sure at this point. What did I have to lose at this point anyway? There's so many thoughts and questions that ran through my mind. The clock made a tick sound as I turned one notch to the right. All of a sudden, a bright light came out of it, and I was being pulled into the clock itself. I was captured in awe and amazement, so much so that it didn't occur to me that I had been sucked through to another dimension of time, until I was there. As I was being sucked into where I was, I saw what I thought were all moments of my life as one. How is that possible? And where am I? Somehow I knew the physical world we see. Somehow I knew it wasn't the physical world we see day to day, but yet it was familiar. On one other hand, this place, it's not what I expected. It felt as if I had been here before, though I hadn't. At least I didn't think I had. It felt as if I had stepped into Narnia itself. But this was better. Somehow I knew it was better. It kind of reminded me of Romania, the feeling where we were all reunited and had so much love for each other. Just as I began to think these things, a mass of light with so many colors began to envelope me and move, as if it were living, as if to take me somewhere. Though I couldn't see who it was, I was strangely okay with it. There was so much peace, wonder, and a deep feeling of love that I couldn't explain. Time and everything I thought I knew seemed to slip away. There was such a stillness, yet it spoke loud measures. It seemed as if I was in a place that slowed down yet sped up at the same time. I know that doesn't make much sense, but I'm finding it harder to describe this mysterious place. My thoughts became quieter and quieter, though it seemed as if they were moving and changing at the same time. Who was this being that seemed to hold things together? Somehow, I knew this being couldn't fit into any description, yet could. Does anyone else know this being in this way? Does this being show up beyond just here? Was this the one Miss Lenore spoke to me of in her letter? Was this what we were celebrating back in what I now wonder was even Romania? I had so many questions. The peace continued to wrap itself within me and around me. My mind paused. Soon I would know, I thought. This is what it feels like to trust without knowing. I just had to trust, as Miss Lenora would say, that it would be revealed in the right timing. I was content yet curious. Who is this being and where were we going? And that is the end, guys. But before we go, I have one last thing for you. And that is a note from me to you. So I'm going to go ahead and read that as well. A note from the author to you. Perhaps like some of the characters in this story, your wonder or childlikeness, a part of who you are, was stomped on at an early age or in different moments of your life. As you've read this, it is meant to be adventurous and fun, but also encouragement that the story doesn't end here. Whether you are older or younger, it is never too late to dream, imagine, and be inspired. No time goes wasted, and each moment matters. You are meant to be your fullest you. While we can't erase the moments in the past that we may have not have liked, or things that have happened to us, we most certainly can rewrite a new outcome, one being of redemption. So I encourage you, step into wonder and find significance in the simple, and extravagance in the extraordinary. Go back in time and rewrite those moments from a new perspective. Be encouraged that there are many chapters in your story yet to be filled. Much love, Kirsa. We stand in time because of the one who is outside of time. And then the rest of this book are, of course, acknowledgements, and you know who you are already. Guys, I just want to say thank you for joining along with me in reading The Lady in the Color Clocks. I would love to know what you think. I'm going to do one more video after this, and it's kind of going to share a little bit of what inspired me to write this, as well as a giveaway of something in which you will see soon. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.